All signs are pointing to the Texans signing another running back. This is an all-pro back, and I really do love the idea of pairing up another guy with Joe Mixon, but it starts to raise some concerns if you're the Texans because they did just draft Woody Marks in the 2025 NFL draft. You traded up for him in the 4th round, so it just raises some concerns as to how many backs are they going to keep on this team, especially if they're going to go out there and go after another veteran who arguably hasn't been the same since this knee injury. So, welcome to Texans Digest if you're new to the channel. 77% of you are not subscribed. If you would, want to stay up to Texans news, hit that sub button. And this is an interesting one. So let me know your thoughts on Nick Chubb having potential interest with the Texans. I heard this news today. I was really caught off guard by it. I love Nick Chubb as a player. He's been great. In the past, last year only played in 8 games. He had that knee injury he was coming off of. 102 carries, 300 yards, and the year before, again, only 2 games. Had that wicked, terrible knee injury against the Steelers, and it was at the heat of the moment. It was a question as to if he would ever play football again. The MRI said it was a lot less severe than the injury actually showed for it. But is Nick Chubb going to be the same player that he ever was? I mean, look at that 2022 season. 300 carries, 1,500 yards, 12 touchdowns. I will say if the Texans sign him, it really will be an added boost because most players, I know he's 29, but most players after an ACL, MCL injury, a major knee injury, a year out post-op, they are much better, much more ready to go. And he's actually, we had a couple clips of him where he's back in the weight room squatting 500 pounds, educated, he gets 575, but the Browns have not re-signed him. Remember, the Browns went after 2 running backs in the draft, so that's Quinshon Judkins and Dylan Sampson, the reason he did not go back to Cleveland. But I want to raise a really crazy kind of question is, why would the Texans bring in Nick Chubb, a veteran running back, when you have... Maybe you're not thinking that Pierce is the best too, or you don't think Woody Marks is ready. But I feel like it's a little bit different here. My conspiracy is that Joe Mixon being in a boot is not a good sign. And it was said that he had a minor calf injury, and you don't want him to be in OTAs or involved in workouts if it's 2 months before the season. I agree, but the fact that he is in a boot and the Texans are in talks with another veteran in Nick Chubb, it's just a little confusing to me if Joe Mixon's going to be ready to start the season or not. Just a little bit of a thought, but I don't think they'd be bringing in Nick Chubb if Joe Mixon wasn't healthy. That's just my thought, because why do you need another veteran running back is the question. I think Mixon is a fine, 3-down back, and you bring in Woody Marks, who's a similar back. He's a patient runner. He's got some burst. He can run players over. You love Woody Marks, but can he mix in as that number 2? I think so. But again, if you bring in Chubb, is Woody Marks going to see the field? Because right now you look at the depth chart, and Dameon Pierce is ahead of Woody Marks on the depth. Yes, this is the unofficial depth chart, but it just... I don't know. It raises some questions to. I think our running back room is fine. You have Mixon, Pierce, Marks, Ogunbowale, and then you bring in Chubb. It's like 5. Do you really need 5 running backs? And that's where the 53-man roster comes in. And you're like, okay, who's going to get cut? Obviously, I don't think Chubb is if he's going to sign as a veteran, but it's just a question as to, okay, the Texans have mutual interest in potentially signing Nick Chubb. I don't mind it, but I'm questioning why. Why would they do that? Is it to get another potential explosive runner? Because I've seen is Joe Mixon a top 10 running back still? And Mixon's getting up there in age, but that's kind of why you drafted Woody Marks. Chubb is 29. He's coming off, not a great season. Again, he had that major knee injury, so you can't put too much pressure on him to be the guy he was in 2022 after a crazy knee injury week 2, coming back. So I give him, 2024, he gets his foot back in the door. He starts to ramp things up. We could very well see 2022, 2021 Nick Chubb averaging 5 yards carry. I mean, there's a very good chance. Remember Todd Gurley on the Falcons. Gurley, after that big knee injury on the Rams, he signed a 1-year deal with the Falcons and then retired. He had a lot of tendonitis in his knee where he sat out of a few games. But Gurley was a monster on the goal line. He had like double-digit touchdowns. So Nick Chubb can be the same guy. He may not be the fastest player he once was, but he's got some breakaway speed. He can run some players over. And I think realistically he can get back to what he was. The only issue is, if anybody doesn't know about Nick Chubb, he has done this injury before. He has had an ACL injury back in college at Georgia, and then back in 2015, he had another MCL problem. So, again, this is not new to Nick Chubb. He knows what it takes to get back from one of these injuries, and the fact that he's still trying to play in this league goes to show you, again, this clip right here of the 500-pound squat. I mean, that is what shows you he still wants to be playing. He still wants to be, on the field. And for what we know from Nick Chubb in that 2022 season, he was unreal. 300 attempts, the 1,500 yards, tied for a career high in 12 rushing touchdowns. I mean, that's nothing to look down on. I mean, that season right there is the hope, the potential for Nick Chubb. I think it'll probably be in the middle somewhere, probably around the 2021 year. If he plays in every game, he gets around 200 carries. But my fear is what's wrong with Joe Mixon. Why? And this is to pair with Joe Mixon to be a 1-2 punch, but I thought the 1-2 punch was eventually going to be Marks and Mixon, not Chubb and Mixon. So it raises some concerns for me as to, is Joe Mixon okay? Is it a minor injury, or did he have a setback and we don't want to know about it and we're going to bring in Nick Chubb and act like everything's peachy clean, we're okay? I don't know. It is just a little bit alarming. I don't want to hear 2 weeks later Joe Mixon expected to miss the first 3 weeks of the season. I don't want to hear it. But there's a very good possibility something went wrong in the minor calf injury that he missed voluntary. Again, it's voluntary OTAs. I'm not too concerned about 2 months, 2 months from preseason, 3 months from the regular season, just under 3 months. But looking at it, it's a little bit concerning that we have not heard much of an update on Joe Mixon, and now all of a sudden there's mutual interest to bring in Nick Chubb. It's a little confusing because they already have so many running backs. Is this a sign that Pierce is going to get cut or traded? Is this a sign that Ogunbowale is not going to be as utilized? Is he just going to be on the practice squad? There's just so many questions for me right now as to, if they do sign Chubb within the next few days, what is this team going to look like? Is Mixon going to be splitting carries with Chubb? Are we not going to see the rookie that you traded up for in Woody Marks, who I personally think should have at least 150 carries in his rookie year? Because running next to Joe Mixon, if Mixon's doing anything close to what he was doing last year, Marks can open up the field so incredibly much. So I think it's a little bit crazy to consider another back who has potential, is a former All-Pro, but again, has injury concerns. It's a little weird, and I want to hear your thoughts in the comments, because as weird as it is, I really don't hate it. It's just the amount of running backs that are on the team. There is not enough room for Mixon, Chubb. Marks is going to have to stay. You drafted him early. Not early, but 4th round. I feel like 4th round pick. Why would you cut him? So you have Mixon, you have Chubb. Marks is on the team, but I'll still throw him in the mix. You got Woody Marks, Pierce, Ogunbowale. That's 5 running backs. One of those has to go to the practice squad. You can't have 5 backs in your room just ready to go, ready to rotate. I don't agree. But I do see the potential with Chubb in the fact that he could be his old self, just looking at the fact that, I mean, a year after this injury, I mean, I don't hate it. I was told he's hoping to sign with the team soon. I mean, that's kind of crazy that they're like that close. The 4-time Pro Bowler said the return to Cleveland's not totally off the table, but from what I'm told, probably unlikely because of the players that they drafted. Now, Go look to sign Chubb. I don't care to pair him up with Mixon. It's just, is Mixon okay? Is Chubb going to take over for Marks until he's ready? Are you going to cut Pierce? There's just too many backs on the team for me. So I have a lot of questions for Nick Caserio. And what is the plan for running back? Is it going to be a 50-50 split? Is Mixon going to take 90% of the carries? I don't know. But if that was the case, you wouldn't have drafted Marks. Well, I guess maybe you wouldn't have not drafted him because you need somebody to take over for Mixon because he is getting older. He's probably got 1 to 3 years left max. And, running back careers are short. So just keep that in mind. But Nick Chubb, rumors to the Texans. I don't hate it. It's just a question as to why and what are you getting from him potential-wise. Is it just depth? Are you not confident in Marks? Is Pierce on the move? This is where my brain goes immediately. So thank you everyone so much for watching. This has been Mike Zanetti, Texans Digest. Let me know your thoughts about Chubb and potentially him signing with the team in the comments below. But until next time, hit that sub button if you're new, and we'll catch you in the next episode.